Good afternoon, real life traders from around the world. It's Robert Falco again, joining you on this gorgeous Monday. Let everybody load up for a few moments into Zoom. Good afternoon, Ron, Bill. Good afternoon, Hector, Sammy, Daniel, Albert. Good afternoon, Mike, David, Chris, Brandon, Jack. Nope, Chester eats after the swing trade room. Yep. All right. So he's downstairs. I don't think heard him already. He's hanging in there. Yeah. The cardiologist gave him 1 to 2 months, and he's on month 3. So yeah, going well. All right. So SPY. Here we go. Pretty much a perfect indecision candle. Just a gorgeous doji out there today. And there was a little bit of news just as far as like more China stuff going on, some crypto. You had, I guess Pelosi said that they still don't have the votes yet to extend the debt ceiling. Government shut down, what, Friday morning? The government shuts down if they don't vote through a debt increase. We need to extend that credit card limit. So just a little bit of indecision out there. After hours, last night futures were looking really, really phenomenal. But yeah, 3-day pennant pattern right here. Look at that perfect doji. I do think that we could end up doing this week. Although if we gap up here and then just start running, I don't know. I mean, I think we could just end up going higher. I don't think the government shuts down for any extended period of time. If it does shut down on Friday and they don't have anything done, by Sunday evening or Monday, they'll be back. I don't think that they're going to let that happen. It's not good for either political party whenever they try to, stop the government from the wheels from turning. So I don't think that that's going to happen. But we'll see. You never know. Again, the market's just big indecision. You're coming into the end of the month, end of the quarter. People are going to be wanting to take gains. Hedge funds, money managers want to show their clients they've had a good quarter, etc. So it could be some last minute positioning going on in the next day or two, because they need 2 days for all those positions to settle, etc. So SPY, I mean, just squeezed right in between the 10, 20, and 50. Here's the long term. Again, we're just steadily climbing. Bounce off the 100 very, very nicely. So if we do continue higher from here, could look pretty nice. Here's the Qs. Also, a little bit of a doji, a little more bullish. Qs was looking pretty bearish there for a minute today, and then we just bounced right off of this same area from last week. So closed above the 50. We did close below both opens from last week, Thursday and Friday. However, again, not too, if we had taken out this candle or something today, that might be a little bit more bearish, but it still looks pretty good. Here's the IWM. I don't know why this isn't on the list there. Let me drag that up. Because IWM, there was some rotation going off today with energy, financial, tech was kind of weak on the open, but the IWM just gapped up and took off. It is trading into resistance, as you can see. This has been in a channel for quite a bit of time of all of these pivot points over here. So IWM definitely a little bit more bullish than bearish today, but it is into some resistance. And then the DIA, if anyone looks at this anymore, this actually gapped up and closed. We closed higher than Friday and Thursday. I think it closed, yep, closed above the 50 as well, and all the moving averages. So the Dow actually looks a little more bullish than the rest. It didn't quite get to the 200, but it got close. Held above the 100. So overall, market looks pretty decent. I think we either way, as Edward was saying, bullish, medium to long term. Could be a little bit of short term chop this week, depending on like the political government shutdown stuff, all that. Thoughts, questions, concerns on the overall broader market? All right, let's jump on into some individual names. The Honest Brands. Just honestly doesn't look that good. So the IPO day got taken out immediately. It retested, rolled over, gapped down on earnings, and yeah, I don't have any position in this company. I think this is Jessica Alba's brand. I think she tried to IPO this thing multiple times. Finally did have a successful IPO, at least as far as listing on the market, but it's literally been cut in half since then. So if you liked it at 20, you should love it at 10 or 11. But I don't see too much on this. If you use the company and you like it, I mean, maybe just accumulate some shares. Hopefully you're accumulating down here and not over here. But it doesn't look, 100 was just born. It doesn't look very great. So I would personally wait for this to at least start trending higher and get a close above this August 13th high before I was trying to go bullish on this one. Now, I wouldn't be shorting it at $10.85 because it's like, how much reward does it really have? But I'm not sure that this is the most bullish chart that's out there in the market. Shopify, where are those long terms on Shop? So right at the 100. So I think if this is going to hold this level, this is where it needs to hold. And you can see this high wave candle pretty much still controlling this price action so far. So we need some more closes outside of it. And if it breaks this little hammer, it's probably going to come lower. I'm not sure that's going to hold if that breaks. So if it breaks today's price action, I wouldn't try it until it came back down into this prior high, this high, the 200, all this stuff. I'd look around 1300 on Shop. But if it does hold right here and then start to creep higher, you could stay in Shopify. Never really broke its bullish trend. Looks pretty good. Has been an absolute beast. Short-term moving averages are pressing down on it though. So I don't think it's going to go rocketing higher. That's Shopify, probably Canada's number one company, at least tech-wise. Affirm, this one is in a bullish trend. So you had this fantastic retest gap. It retested the moving average, gapped up again, and this actually looks like some type of double bottom off the moving average. I would expect a little bit of a pullback and then probably higher. I'm not in Affirm. I know there's rumors that this thing is going to get bought out, so I definitely wouldn't try to short it up here. But it's definitely up there. So if you're going to play this, I would play it aggressively and then make sure to use stops, etc. Could be a huge cup and handle. It does look like that, yeah. Ron got a May 2022 leap. And a weekly 145. Yeah, that's probably good. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the firm, but it looks bullish. I don't personally have a position in this one. But not all, many of its competitors have been acquired over the last, month and a half? So I know there's anticipation of that on Affirm. Roku doesn't look bullish to me. I know Yates had mentioned over here, like, hey, we shouldn't take that candle out. We took it out the very next day, broke down, retested, rolled back over again. Should have actually tried to short this one today, and it would have ended up being a nice win. Might have gotten trailed out here. I'd have to back trade it. But this gap right here, who can tell me what pattern this is? These three candles. Morning star reversal. Not quite. Yeah, Matthew's got it. Evening star reversal with an abandoned baby. That just means that there is double gap action on both sides of that candle there and there. So yeah, Roku. Now this could fill. I mean, you got a little bit of a hammer candle. Could fill like tomorrow or the next day, and then it's not as bad. But if we take this candle out, that's not going to be good, because then you're just confirming like a lower low. If there was a big wick, it would be better, but it does have a little tiny wick on there. But that's a one candle island reversal with a bullish and then a bearish candle. So yeah, abandoned baby. So it doesn't look great to me on Roku. I think this trend might be breaking here. It looks like a big old double top on the weekly, and monthly might be forming. So yeah, as Ron's saying, big double top potentially. So if you're in Roku, I would just be really careful. If you're pyramiding in, that's cool. Pyramid like all the way down to like 250 or the 100 on the weekly. But you're below the long terms. You retested them from the bottom and just got rejected immediately. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe that's a wave 5. 1, 2, 3. If it continues lower. So yeah, I'm not really I don't have any more position on Roku, and I don't think I want to start one until at least 300, but probably down into like 280, 290. They also have a lot of competition coming. Their last earnings, like the earnings was good, but their guidance was not that great. And the stock market doesn't really care about the last earnings as much as it cares about trying to discount future growth in earnings. Wage doesn't know anyone who uses Roku, really? I think Matt uses Roku. Edward does, John does. DeLong uses Roku, right? Hector's got one. So a lot of people are use the product, which again I think is great. It's premiumly priced, and yeah, they got a lot of competition coming for them. So, and the trend looks like it's breaking. That's all for Roku. So I don't have any position on Roku. I will look to buy it lower. I got out when it broke that candle on August 9th after earnings. It was $80. Yeah, I got put shares of Roku during the Corona crash at 90. So yeah, I remember. Yep. How come I still don't have it? I mean, because I sold it. Like, it went up a lot. Yeah, I'm all out. All out. It can go higher though. I mean, it could, but it might come lower first. Toilet paper hands. Bro, when I got put those shares, this thing went all the way down to like 60. Yeah. Good old Roku. Yeah, I mean, I needed toilet paper more than I needed Roku shares. That one was harder to come by than the other. So yeah, just be careful on Roku. It's not that I'm like totally giving up on the company, but there's a little bit of red flags with this price action going on. Apple, this is one that has not broke its trend, is looking pretty nice. Again, it had a just crazy run up over here, and they crushed it on earnings. You got the pullback, and I would really like this to come back to the 100. Really like it back into this area, 137, 138, but we'll see if it gets there. I did buy a couple more shares over here off the 50, nothing crazy, like 10 more. And if we break back above here, maybe I'll buy like 5 more shares. But I think this one could end up getting to the 100. Longer term target would be the 2618 fib extension, and that would be 174 area on Apple. I know there was a little bit of like, oh, they lost against Epic, but I think the best part was that they now have precedent that says, hey, they're not a monopoly. So I think that that's good. So buy the dip on Apple. I don't really think you can go wrong with this one. Is Apple going to quadruple in the next, year or two? Absolutely not. However, is it going to, implode on itself? Yeah, probably not either. And they make the most money of any company on the planet, pretty much. So yeah, if it breaks back above here, undoing that collar, we could do that for sure. Or you could just sell puts against your long put as well, Ron. I think that Apple could get down into here. I'd like to see it down at 137. I had sold 130 puts on this day, and that was like free money. They were worthless like within 2 days, pretty much. But I think it could come bounce off of this. Never got to the infamous 100, so I guess this gap is gonna stay open until they go the way of Xerox years from now. But according to Wage, they're like super innovative, and he loves Apple software. Plus, bullish on dongles, right? So yeah, that's Apple. iOS 15 is pretty sweet. I like it. Quick thing on iOS 15, like you can take a picture of like a sign, or I snapped a picture of someone's business card, and then you can literally just click on the photo, like on the email address or phone number, and call and or email them. Yeah, the AI like detects it somehow. It's pretty sweet. Finally, something good on iPhone. iPhone superiority. Does Hector have a? When I text him, is it green? I get that every time I text him one, and it's green. I'm like, oh, what a poor. Kidding, kidding, but not kidding. iPhone dominance. All right, so Upwork, this one looks really good. I do have a collar on this. I got an October short 55 call to 45 long put. Can't lose on these shares. It's coming back to the 100. I actually think it could get down right into here. So like the bottom of this, when I look left, I like the bottom of this candle. Coming right across the tops of these, that one, that one, that one. It's kind of where I draw my line, and it also aligns with the 200. So I would really like it to retest the 200 again, and I would probably add a few more shares. But I do have that long put to protect the existing position that I'm in, just because I know we are pretty high on Upwork. Yeah, this thing at the low, I mean, this is $5. So this thing was up what is that, 1200% at one point? Yeah, 1200%. So I also realized that it could, it could come a lot lower, that kind of thing. So just want to make sure that I'm protecting that position. You missed the chat the last couple of weeks. The recordings are lacking the extra color in the chat. Yeah, that's why it pays to be here live. If you're watching the recording, never know what Justin, Edward, Jonathan, everyone's going to say. But yeah, I like the 200. That's where I would look to like maybe buy a little bit more. We'll see. WYNN, so I was able to buy back one of the put sales. So I had sold a 70 as well. And I was able to buy that back today for about 52% capture. Yeah, I wasn't trying to like hold this thing all the way, to the very end. I still have the $75 one. It is positive now. But I know that, hey, I'm trying to like bottom fish on WYNN. And they do have some China exposure through Macau, so I just want to be careful on size of this one. So yeah, I still have this 75 October put sale, but the 70 did get bought to close. I would have really liked this candle to close above that upper wick, but it didn't do that today. It was running into the 10. However, I do think this could be setting up for a little bit of a swing trade. So I think if it does this, comes in, puts in a higher low, then you could look to try and play it somewhere over here. I think it's going to take a few more days to roll back down. And then I want to see it bottom somewhere in here and then push higher. So Jonathan's going to pay out subs for people. Interesting. Such a nice guy. So that's WYNN. Roblox, not the best news today. I think they settled. I didn't even know they had a lawsuit, but they settled some kind of lawsuit. And yeah, rejected the 100. I was really thinking about selling a call on Friday, but I wanted this to come a little bit higher. And that call probably would have been easily cut in half today. So it's still holding this blue line, this 77.86 area. I like it based on this candle, the top of this candle. A lot of this price action in here, that one, this pivot point. So I would like Roblox to stay above all of that price action. So we'll see what happens over the next few days and or week. I think this is a longer term accumulation zone down here, and then eventually we're going to break out into public participation. I just added right over here on the 20th, so I'm not going to add too much. I mean, I might add like 10 shares or something like that, but I think I bought 35 last Monday. Nothing crazy. Yeah, this one does have some put premium. If you're willing to sell puts lower, there's some good option premium on Roblox. I think that they are going to release their numbers each month. At the end of the month, they like release the prior month's numbers. So that's always something to pay attention to with Roblox, and see like their hours played and sessions initiated or whatever it's called. I forget. I'd have to go back and watch the IPO video that I did. But it's like how many games people start up, and then revenue per user. The numbers are always good. They gap down on the numbers, and then it gets bought up. Yeah. Yep. So I like Roblox a little bit longer term. I like the programming aspect of it, and kids are still playing it like crazy. So yeah, if you see it gapping down, that's definitely a time to buy it. When was it? I want to say it was this day, or was it this day right here? mid-month. Yeah, I think it was this one, September 9th. They announced August, so got like a week or so. And then they should announce September. So yeah, I like Roblox a little bit longer term. FedEx, this one's been requested just because it's got absolutely obliterated on earnings. And yeah, I agree. It is a huge gap. It's a retest gap. You would expect it to retest, but this thing had such a run in 2020. And then just the other thing too, labor costs are up really, really high. And I know that they're having problems with that. They are not unionized. UPS does have unionized labor. And so the unionized labor is time and paced as far as labor increases. FedEx isn't, so they're getting kind of hit all at once. So yeah, I would wait on this. I would wait until we get down to the 100 or 200 on the weekly. Trucking has been having delays and shortages all over the country. Yeah. What don't they have a shortage of right now? It seems like. So I get it. It's a retest gap. It is extremely extended. Bearish Bitcoin. I think that'd be more like Shiba or Dogecoin. There's not shortages of. So yeah, this thing is like, I mean, I don't even know how much lower the RSI can go, honestly. I mean, how often do you see an RSI at 17? So, like, if you want to try to bottom fish with this, just keep in mind that it could go sideways for a few days. The RSI like shoots up and then it can roll over. So, yeah, I would just be really careful buying the dip on FedEx. Don't buy too much all at once because, yeah, there's not a lot holding this up. It could easily come down into 200 again. Yeah, no, I'm more like XRP Army. Yeah. Or who's the cat lady again? What's her name? Didn't she come out with a coin? Oh gosh, why can I not think of her name? From Carol Baskin coin, yeah. I might speculate on that one a little bit. Cat coin. But but FedEx, just be careful buying the dip on this one. I get it, it's very extended, but it can go lower. Big commerce. I don't see anything good on big commerce. I know Jeremy posted a chart of like things that go parabolic and then just die, and this kind of looks like that. I know there were some people excited about Big C over here, and it just double topped and rolled over. And yeah. Yep. So I don't know. Big C looks like it's going lower. I mean, maybe you want to slowly accumulate this one over time, but I would just rather pick something in an uptrend. It's just so much easier to trade in an uptrend than to try and pick bottoms on things. Quadruple U. U. I don't think I've ever looked at this stock. Energy Fuels Inc. What the heck is this? No idea. It was a penny stock until a few days ago. And got above, well, like a week ago. Got above $5. And it's just hanging out. Oh, okay. Okay, it's one of these. I bet it's had like quite a few reverse splits. So energy is hot right now, especially going into the Q4. I don't know anything about this one, so I would probably just steer clear. You got a lot of volume up here. We've taken all that out, so yeah. I would probably say no unless you think that this is some like big double bottom on the weekly right here, and you want to grab it all the way back down there. You can do that. But I don't really see any reason to play this one. All right, the big winner for today for a lot of RLT. I think this Apple and like Square are probably the stocks that RLTs as a cumulative group has made the most money on. Today was one of those days. I mean, you just had to play this hammer. I played this hammer in every single account that I have. Because it was just that. And if the market wouldn't have crapped its pants on this day, like it probably would have gone over here. So yeah, traded to a target. I think Newsome made what did he say? 49 R's on this. Now obviously he was playing it from over here. And if you're asking like how did he make 49 R's, he went heavy. He probably added as it broke out, retested. He probably added more on that hammer. And he doesn't just put his beard on the line for anything. He's not going to put his beard on the line for 1 R or 2 R's. Because remember, he had said, hey, if we break 620 by September 20th, he was going to shave the beard. I don't know that I've ever seen Jeremy put a beard trade on, like put his beard on the line. So yeah, it looks good. Here's the weekly. Looks pretty solid. There is some resistance up into here. But you're running out of bag holders to push through. I think the other reason that like this took so long, there was a lot of bag holders here that thought this was the breakout and we were gonna, do this, and that didn't happen. And so I think you had to get through a lot of that. But the next, section where there's more volume is up in this area because there's only a couple days worth of price action here. Longer term target would be 1022, the 1618 extension. So yeah, if you're still in, that's great. I think you can look to sell some calls. And then you obviously would probably want to buy the dip. Boop. So 760, 758, like back to the scene of the crime where it was having just a hell of a time trying to break out. I think it's going to retest there. Some of you got put sales, down in this area. Those are probably free money. And, if it does this and you want to sell one down here, something like that, or down here, you could probably do that as well. Earnings are at the end of October, early November. But, yeah, I'll look to get back in around 760, and then with a stop down in here. 605, not even, yeah, I gotta consolidate the chart a little bit, but this never really broke its trend. I do still think the high is in for the year. I don't think it makes a new high in 2021. 2022 it might, but I don't think it does in 2021. I think it'll trade up into this area, push down. Who knows what happens on earnings? Maybe we get some chop. So, yeah, Tesla looks good. I think a lot of people won on it. When the bot launches, the Tesla bot is like so far off. Let's get the truck first. Can we get the truck first, Elon, that we've been waiting for like, where was the truck? Over here somewhere, wasn't it? So let's get the truck first, and then we'll worry about the bot, and hopefully the window's fixed. Yeah, hopefully the window's fixed. So we'll see what happens, but it looks good. I think the breakout looks pretty solid. It's been coiling for a while, so yeah, I think it's buy the dip. Back into 760. Squids? What is a squid? Squigs? I think it goes like this, this, something like that, probably. At some point, there'll be like a big drop over here somewhere. And then everyone will go like, oh my gosh, it's going all the way back to 500. and no one will buy anything, kind of like over here. Because everyone thought it was going to come to 500, including me, but then like you got to buy something. So, but yeah, it looks good. That's why you never want to buy like everything at once, because you never know exactly where it's going to go. 420 no fill. 420 is probably out of the question now, unless something crazy happens. 420 is probably out of the question at this point. Yeah, unless there's a split. Don't put that juju on us, Edward. Won't even repeat what he's calling for. Chat. SBUX bounced off the 100. I know a lot of us played it right around the 100, sold it into this resistance. I do like SBUX off the 200. If you bought it down here also, you probably look to take a quick gain into the 100, maybe try to buy a double bottom. The one thing I will say on SBUX, island reversal at an all-time high. And now you have a confirmed lower high. That's not the greatest sign in the world. It is SBUX. They're not, going anywhere. I don't think this is going back to $50 or $60 or anything. But I think it's probably just going to hang out and chill for a while, and it's going to enter a distribution phase up here. Probably into 2022 before it does anything like super cool. So if you're playing it for some quick money, I like it. Otherwise, just if you're buying in a distribution phase, you want to try to buy as low as possible. Something to keep in mind on SBUX. Also, cost of labor really going to hurt them. I went to a Starbucks this morning at like 5:15 in the morning. They weren't even open. I'm like, what is going on? I drove up to the window and it said that due to staffing shortages, they weren't going to open until 1 p.m. It's like by then, everybody's had their coffee. All right, so I just went to a different Starbucks. So, yeah, 1 p.m. I know, right? Crazy. All right, PENN National. So PENN National, nice pullback on this. Does look like it's entering an accumulation phase. I know someone was asking about selling a call. I would try to wait on the call until we can trade up into the mid 80s. That way you could at least sell like a 94 or a 95. Because I would want to try to sell a call off of all of this. Like if I got called away, I would want it to have broken through like all of these. And in order to do that, it's probably going to need to trade up into here for you to get money right there. So I would say buy it as low as possible. And then once you trade up into this zone, then you can sell the call up at the higher level. So this is another one that, these are moves of a lifetime. You just have to realize, especially those of you that like started trading last year, stocks don't normally move 3,500% in that's literally like a year. So this one, I mean, it could literally do nothing for like 5 years. Never know. Just because it had so much of a move throughout 2020. How am I going to make money? Buy low and then either try to sell high or, sell calls against it, etc. I mean, I've said the same thing over here. It's just everyone was like, perma bear, rah. Yeah, where it's like, this is not normal. Like stocks don't normally go up 3,500% in a year. And this isn't, let me just take a look. What's the market cap? It's not a super large company, but it's not super small either. I mean, it's $12 billion. You ever sell calls first, then buy the stock? No. No, not usually. Not usually. Yeah, I mean, Portnoy, I don't think he's really day trading anymore. I think that was like something to keep him busy while everything was shut down. Again, some of these returns in 2020 or early 2021, especially between November and February, these were like once in a lifetime moves. The market is not normally like that. People aren't normally like doubling and tripling their accounts in 4 months, which, you know, you could have easily done like with a lot of stuff. Like we had a real life trader that bought this at $4. And if you bought it at $4, like you could still hold through all this. You don't have to worry about it. But yeah, the days of things going up 3,500% a year is just, it's probably not going to. We just have to temper our expectations a little bit, I think. Wade says he liked it better that way. We all did. We just knew it wasn't going to last forever. Portnoy is too busy selling frozen pizzas, the chat says. So I would just be patient on PENN. If it trades back up into the 200, then sell some calls, you know, then try to buy some dips down here. Like, even if you did, let's say you bought it at 65 and you sell it at 90, that's still a great return. That's still a great return. So yeah, just try to buy low and sell high, but don't buy it at 65 and expect it to go to, you know, 150 and make a new high within 6 months. It's probably not going to do that. Logitech, this is another one. You know, that again, it's just like they make computer peripherals. You know, it went up 350% in what was that, like a little over a year. So yeah, this one needs to pull back some more. Someone was asking me about pyramiding in. I would just pyramid in on this one slowly. I would prefer this back down to like 80. Still only 2.9 price of sales. I mean, they make like mice and cameras, you know? And it's like once you, I think I still have the same mouse. Does this have a date on it? Probably not. I think I got the same mouse from like 6-7 years ago. Keyboards, yeah, my keyboard, you know, it's mechanical. Things last forever. So that's the only problem. The webcam stuff, the webcams, you know, those need to be replaced because technology gets better and that kind of thing. Yeah, but like once, okay, like all the kids got their computers now to do like their schoolwork and everything else, but I'm just not sure how they. Like, I like recurring revenue, and I just don't know like how much recurring revenue is Logitech really going to get from someone. That's the only problem that I see with it. So I like the company. I would just try to buy it as low as possible and just be patient. You don't have to snag it all right away. And yeah, I would prefer it down at 80. All the short-term moving averages are bearish. Momo's bearish, and it's just had a huge move. So 72, $10 like Amwell. Not kidding. Yeah, like 80 first. That's probably where I'd start to buy it. Unless I like just really was FOMOing, maybe I'd buy like 2 shares at 91. 5 shares. Just so that I felt like, oh, I got a taste. And then, yeah, you can buy the rest later. Justin says, I sell their keyboards online faster than I can buy them. In fact, I can't even find a dealer for them anymore. Yeah, I don't think that helps either, right? With product shortages. That just like puts off revenue. So Under Armour. I don't know about this one. Yeah, once it broke out of like 18, it was okay. It's back around the 100, 200. I don't really think I would do anything with this. I'd much rather play Crocs than Under Armour. Like Crocs is just in a much better trend. So I would stay away from Under Armour.
Justin says his revenue went down too. Yeah, you got to have things to sell, right? Like, it doesn't matter how great the demand is if there's no supply. Like, we just looked in the morning room today. We looked at graphics cards from NVIDIA, and these more affordable graphics cards, they're like $3,000 now. When they first came out, they were like $1,200 because you just can't get them. All right, First Solar. I like this one. Definitely taken longer than I thought, primarily because the government like hasn't really done anything. I thought they were going to do some type of infrastructure deal. This was like my Biden bet was on solar, and it was working for a while. I had all but one of these paid for. I think I've almost got the other call paid for now. I bought back the 115. I do still have the 110 for October, and I'm gonna leave the 110, and I'm not gonna sell any more calls. If these get back in the money, I'll probably just sell the calls and then buy new ones, because I'm running out of time, right? Like, this was a leap like a year ago, you know, after the election. This was a leap, but it's like it's not really a leap anymore. I like this weekly multi-year breakout and retest of this channel. I like the fact that this is an Arizona-based company. I used to live in Arizona. I think they're out of Tempe, so I know a little bit about them. They don't use polysilicon. They use different technology. So I like First Solar. This is a nice bouncing candle today. Again, here's your long terms. It bounced off of them pretty nicely. So yeah, I like First Solar. It's just it's not going to go straight up like it did over here. I think it's going to take a little bit longer. So I'll probably recycle the calls for new calls and then go from there. I do like this one a little bit longer term. Lennar, so home builder. Housing is hot right now. And Lennar, been riding the 100. It's below the 100. If we roll off this 100, that's not going to be good. But if we can get back above it, that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, we would need to get back above the 100 first. I'd need to see it close back above it. 75. There was money down at 75 on First Solar. I'm surprised. It's not bad. So I would want this back above the 100 and then take a retest. Otherwise, I'd probably leave Lennar alone. AYX. This one, I sent this one to the Gulag a while ago, but I kind of like this candle. That one right there. And we got a little bit, almost an inside candle. I think it went a little bit higher. 75.67, 75.53. Yeah, it went a little bit higher. And I think it hit the weekly like 200. Oh, it's well below that. Dang. Fundamentally, this company has done horrible. The 100's right there. Yeah, never mind. I don't like it as much anymore. There's not as much room into that 100 because it's probably going to hit the 100 and reject a little bit. If it can hit the 100, roll back down, and then bounce, maybe we can look at a play. But the 100's right in front of our face, so there's really no point in trading that one. But their fundamentals have been terrible. I think it'll take like a whole nother earnings to see like, hey, this company is actually getting back to growth. I think they were growing at like 1 or 2%. You might as well buy Coca-Cola. If you want 1 or 2% growth, heck, buy Coke or Pepsi or something and get a dividend. Redfin. This one also, it doesn't look bad. It's running right into this little trend line here. It almost got to the 618 retrace. This is also one that, how much was this up? This is up 900% in a year. So I would just not expect this to go back to like 72 tomorrow or anything like that. But if you wanted to play this double bottom, Probably buy it off of 53, 52.75, something like that, and then try to get it up into here. Leaps, yeah, on a pullback you could buy some leaps. Just don't buy like super far, you know, don't buy like $80 leaps or something. Let's go. Let me just take a quick look. I don't think you want to buy super far out of the money. Wow, they have January 2024 leaps now. That's crazy. These things must have just opened because there's literally the open interest is like 2 on these. So yeah, if you wanted to buy like if you get a little bit of a dip and you want to buy like a $50 leap, you could get it for like probably $2,000. And that's January of 2024. They don't have June of 2023. The January of 2023, heck, you get a 50 for like $16, 15.80 maybe. So that's what I would buy. I would not buy leaps up here though. So I'd want them either in the money or very like 60 would probably be the farthest out of the money that I would go on Redfin. It is still in a longer term uptrend like this. Someone posted a sign that like a for sale sign that Redfin was using, and it was pretty weak. I was like, are they having problems? They just got this weird brown sign on there. It looked pretty ugly. Edward says it's terrible. I know one person that sold their house with Redfin, and they didn't like the realtor. She did a really bad job. Almost lit their house on fire. Like, left candles on in the house with no one home. Let's go to Bros. So I like Bros. I wanted this on the IPO, but I missed it by like a couple days. The pennant pattern is breaking down. I'd like to grab this lower, 40 or lower. If I could get this for 30, I'll definitely buy a chunk at 30 on Dutch Brothers. Yeah, you sold at 60, right, Sammy? You got into some more today. Plus, I mean, look at the ticker, Bros. Like, you gotta love that. Coffee. This is a coffee place. They have small footprint. They don't need, huge spots. Their culture is really good. The only thing that I don't like about their coffee, Daniel, is it's extremely sweet. Like, I have to tell them like 1/3 the sweetness. They use a lot of sweetener. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. But it's pretty strong. So yeah, I usually say like 1/3 the sweetness, Albert, because it's just otherwise it's too sweet. Representing your homeboys. Oh, do you know these guys, Taylor? You're Dutch. Oh, okay. Yeah, one of the admins that used to work for me when I worked in my corporate job, she's Dutch, and they used to be dairy farmers, and they know the family. It was 2 brothers. One of the brothers passed away. There's only one that's still alive. But yeah, good company. Oh, no sugar? No, I mean, I don't want any. I want a little bit of sweetener. Otherwise, I'd just drink black coffee. I think I can add that one on. Coffee's gross. Okay, I got to speed up. You guys are distracting me a little bit. Uber. Nice move back above the 100 on Uber. I think you can buy the dip on this. I don't think this has a ton of room to go. Maybe into 52. They said they're going to be profitable. I don't think this company is ever going to be profitable. So, yeah, I would just play it quick. I wouldn't play this longer term. If you bought down here, great area to sell some calls up in this area, put a collar on it, etc. Microsoft, I think this one is definitely dip buyable. I would love for this one to hit the 100. It hasn't done that in a long time, but I don't know if it's going to do that anytime soon. No idea what this ticker was supposed to be. Activision, I would just accumulate slowly. They got some really bad publicity, bad headlines going on. It's between the 100, 200 on the weekly. This is another one that had the dreaded island reversal at an all-time high, and it retested and failed, and since then it has not been nice. I have a small position on Activision. I'll look to buy more, but I'm being very patient. I only have like 50 shares of this. Norwegian Cruise Lines. Nice breakout on the cruise ships. I would definitely buy the dip on this one. But I would try to buy like a partial here and then a partial here. Like 27.50 and then like 26.50. And then have a stop down at like 24. Pick the one, whichever one you want. RCL, CCL, Norwegian, whichever one you like to cruise on. Target, unfortunately, broke the 100, closed below all this stuff. So, yeah, it looks like Target's going to come a little bit lower. Here's your weekly. Long way to the weekly 50. And this thing has also just had one heck of a run. So, the trend, we're bending on this one. Momo's been short for a bit. So, yeah. You tried it off the 100, you might have a little bit of room before your stop, but it doesn't look great. Yeah, this might be the bend in the end a little bit here. We'll see. You know, if we take this candle out, we reclaim the 100, no big deal. But until that happens, a little bit more bearish. Moderna, I tried to buy the dip on this one. It didn't dip enough, so I canceled it. And at this point, I would wait for the 50 on the daily, so like 383. Is where I would buy that. Is this a double top? Potentially. I mean, we'd have to come all the way down here and then retest before we know. But not this. Not yet, because this went higher. But it is confirmed lower highs. So yeah, just try to buy it as low as possible. TTD. Let's see. This one kind of defied the odds after the split, still went higher. It is at some resistance, so I would just slowly accumulate this one or shorter term swing. Looks like a little double bottom here. Maybe it gets a little lower, and then you can play for that. BBY, I do know a couple folks that were buying around 106, 105 area off of this horizontal support all in here. And I think it's a good area. The candle on Friday looked horrible. Like we were closing below all this stuff. I was like, yeah, buddy, that doesn't look too great. But the candle today looks awesome. And it trapped everybody that shorted on Friday. And it closed above 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bearish candles. Yeah, with increasing volume. So granted, 100, 200 are right here. But if you wanted to, you could buy the dip halfway through this candle, put a stop right there, and yeah, that's best buy. It is getting into the end of the year, potential Santa Claus rally. So I think the only open swing trade we have right now is Twitter. I want to go over to this one. I think I'm going to move this entry down. Of course, my luck. Missed this by 21 cents. So I'm going to go ahead and move this down a little bit, see if we can get a little bit of a better deal. So let me make sure that I update that. Official swing trade. Lower the first entry on Twitter to 64.65 because we barely got missed today. Okay. So yeah, that's Twitter. That's our open swing. We closed Tesla, and I think that's the only open ones we have, other than some weekly options newsletters. Let's get a list for tomorrow. Let me erase this one, and I will send it to Yates. Go ahead and let's see. Pens Square. Do I think an October correction is coming? Maybe. It doesn't have to, though. I mean, we already pulled back 5%, almost 6%. So if for some reason they do let the government shut down, I think that was probably not bullish. But then once they reopen it, then everyone will be like, oh, yay, we're back. But if you're following Robert Kiyosaki, absolutely not. I think he's only called 7 of the last 2 corrections, according to Twitter. MU, CBS, Duke Energy, BKSY, Zim. I think I got J&J, yeah. Yeah, J&J is on there. All right, sweet. That's all for me. Thanks, everybody. Congrats on the win on Tesla. And for those of you that are still in, looking good. Have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow.